Hello, friends, and welcome to the second part of our live session. I apologize, I did not get this done sooner. I was busy with students, and now I'm looking for my pen. Here it is. Okay, so the previous slide told us that we first want to figure out what we have in relation to the angle that we're looking at. So we're looking at this 50-degree angle here, right? According to this 50-degree angle, and that's the only angle, we never use this one. That's a no. That just tells us where the hypotenuse is. So we know this is a hypotenuse. Okay, so we need, since we know we have something at the hypotenuse, we need the trig functions that use hypotenuse, and tangent does not use hypotenuse. So we cross it out. So now we just have to decide if we have an opposite or an adjacent. So across from this 50, if I look, this would be my opposite, and there's nothing there. So I don't have an opposite. I only have the side next to it, which is adjacent. So that means I have a hypotenuse and an adjacent, so I'm dealing with cosine. So that's how I'm going to set up my function. I'm going to say cosine of 50 degrees is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. My adjacent side is 17, and my hypotenuse is x. So when I'm solving this, we can think of it, I think the easiest thing to do is to just cross multiply. That's the easiest thing. So under this cosine of 50, that represents a number. That's a calculation. So I would stick that over 1, because we can turn any number into a fraction by putting it over 1. And then we're going to cross multiply. We're going to go x times the cosine of 50 equals 17 times 1, which is just 17. And we want to solve for x. We want to figure out what x is, so we're going to divide by whatever's next to x, because dividing is the opposite of multiplying by the cosine of 50. So I'm going to divide by the cosine of 50. So then in Desmos, I'm going to go and type in 17 divided by the cosine of 50. Oh yeah, I think I did this one in class already. I did. Okay. So let's go to Desmos. And then we're going to type in 17 divided by cosine of 50. Of course my kids would argue right now. Really? So we are left with an x value of 26.4. So I have too many menus up here. Here we go. So my answer for x is 26.4. That's that one. Let's do a few more. Okay, now for this one, same deal. We're gonna, same process. I can identify my hypotenuse first. So if we look here across the 90-degree angle, oh, there's nothing there. So that means anything with hypotenuse, I'm not going to need. So we kind of already know we need tangent because there's no hypotenuse there. So I'm going to write tan, and the only angle there is a 13. And then I go opposite is the side opposite, which is x. Adjacent is the side right next to it, which is 24. Opposite, adjacent. So then I would cross multiply, stick this over 1, and then we're going to multiply 24 times the tangent of 13 Notice how I'm not figuring out the tangent of 13 right away because it's a decimal. I don't want to round until the very end. And then x times 1, or just x. So in this case, I don't have to divide because everything is on the other side. So I'm just going to type in 24 times the tangent of 13 into Desmos. And I get an answer of 5.5. Too many windows. Okay.
Mama, I'll just eat here.
Okay, so 5.5 is our final answer. So the next part is to find the missing angle of a triangle. To find the angle of a triangle, we're going to use inverse trig functions. And this is the process that you would use if we want to find that missing angle. So find the angle that you're missing, so it'll be labeled as an x. Determine what sides you have. So it's the same process. You're going to say, do I have an opposite, adjacent, all that stuff. Set up the trig equation. Then we're going to use the inverse trig, and I'll show you. It's just a button on your calculator. Okay. It's an inverse or a shift thing. I'll show you where it is on Desmos. If you guys need help finding it on any other calculator, please email me. So for this one, you can see right here the angle that we need is given as an x. So we got to figure out if we need sine, cosine, or tangent. Let's check for that hypotenuse first. Cross from the 90. Oh, there's nothing there, so no hypotenuse. So I know now that I'm dealing with tangent. We got to get the sides in the right order. So across from that angle is my opposite. And the other side next to it is the adjacent. So then I'm going to write tangent of x because I don't know how many degrees that angle is, and I can't subtract because I don't have this angle either. But there's no variable there, so we don't need to know it right now. They don't care about that one. So opposite is 32. Adjacent is that 50. So then what I'm actually going to type into Desmos is it's going to look like this. It's going to be inverse tangent of 32 over 50. When you do the inverse tangent, that actually tells you the angle. So let's go to Desmos, check it out. Okay, so you might have to go to the function part. So I'm still in degrees, that's good. I'm not going to go, ABC is like letters, you know, variables. Function, this is what we want. You guys are going to want to click on these inverse keys right here. So it's under function, not under main. Main is where you always start. So you guys click on function, and then you're going to click on inverse tangent right here. So you're going to go inverse tangent and then go back to main, 32 divided by 50. And we get an angle of about 32.6 degrees. Pretty nifty. So now, if you actually wanted to figure out the other angle, you could, because we know that all triangles equal 180 degrees. So I could just subtract 90, which is 90, right? And then minus that 32 points. Excuse me, 0.6. And that gives us 57.4 degrees. So that would be the other angle if you were asked to find it. Okay, let's do this one. Lots of good examples. So same process. We're going to identify our angle. This time it's given as theta. So it's going to be a function of theta. Let's see if we have a hypotenuse. Go across from that 90. Oh, we do. So it's got to have hypotenuse in there. So anything that doesn't, so no tangent today. So it's either sine or cosine. So now we're going to focus on that angle that they gave us, that they're telling us to focus on. You go across. Oh, nothing there for opposite. So there's no opposite. There's only adjacent. So that means we want cosine. So we're going to write cosine of theta is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And then what you're going to type into the calculator is it's going to be inverse cosine of 12 over 17. And that's going to tell you the angle measure. So we'll go to Desmos. And you're going to go to function, inverse cosine, back to main, 12 divided by 17. And you have an angle of about 45.1 degrees. So almost a perfect 45 there. Pretty nifty, yeah. I don't know why that's nifty, but whatever, it is. Okay, what are the odds this one's going to be a sine? Hey guys, it'll be a sine. So same deal, focus on the angle. This one's an x. Do we have a hypotenuse? Yes, we do. So no tangent. And we go straight across from that x, and I have a 17. So I have opposite. So opposite and a hypotenuse, the only one that deals with is sine. So I'm going to write sine of x is equal to 17 over 30. And then on the calculator, I'll actually type in inverse sine of 17 over 30. Gives me that angle. So then we go to Desmos. I'm going to type in, go to function, inverse sine, back to main, 17 divided by 30. And we get 34.5 degrees as my angle. Oops. Go away, menu. So 34.5 degrees would be my angle there. So that's all I have today. Yeah, let me know if you need help, okay? But that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys watched this and found it helpful. Bye.